Hi, Virgo. This is your astrology reading for October. All sun, moon, rising, Venus signs in Virgo. Now, before I get into it, if you're not used to watching the videos or anything and you're watching it for the first time, especially if you're watching it from the point of view is coming from Venus, I try to make sure that I throw out there every once in a while. If you're coming to me for like Venus being like a love reading, you might as well turn it off right now and go somewhere else. Because the way spirit works with me is I don't see Venus as love, I see Venus as sensitivity. So, I mean, it can be teaching you about healing for yourself that will help you with love, but I'm not going to be seeing Venus as love in any way, shape, or form. Just so that I know I didn't give you the wrong idea right off the bat. Now, as I do the astrology reading, um, it is a little bit of a generic reading, and that's only because I can only hit some of the main high points and then kind of go over what the houses are going to mean for you at the month with what's going on. Simply because there's too many aspects to go over every single day, and at the same time, this is a universal reading, so I'm leaving it a little bit more on that side. I'm going to try to put it into a half hour, but it keeps slipping over the half hour on most of them. So I'll try to put it into a half hour so that I can get in and out of your life as quick as possible. With that being said, if you are interested in, your own private appointments, whether it's shamanic, tarot, or astrology, you can find all your information down below on how to contact me so that you can take care of that on a more personal level for yourself. With that being said, Spirit is saying right off the bat that this month is going to have some head healing going on. Some head healing going on. I feel like head and heart healing going on, actually. Some sacral chakra and some illumination. So it might be third eye and crown, but I'm getting like illumination. I'm getting core energies. This has come in. A lot of this is going to be hitting. I think a lot of the energies that are going to be seen are going to come back to making you look at the very core energy, which is your self-awareness, your physical body, your personality, appearance, your view of life, your identification, and your very image. Because I'm being given the sun energy, but in a strange way. Because it's coming in with like head. So this might be coming in. This is coming in with you getting over some egotistical ideas, starting to either view things from a new level, or some egotistical energies are going to be kicking you in the butt, trying to put you in the right direction. Is there anything else? All right, that's what I'm getting right now from Spirit. I'm going to go over the main highlights and start hitting up some of the places. And like I said, try to get it all in within a half hour. Obviously, everybody has been talking about Pluto going direct on the 3rd. But what they're not talking about is Mercury is also moving into Scorpio on the 3rd. Now, Pluto going direct is just starting to work with Saturn at that point. Saturn and Pluto, please understand, will still be in shadow for a little bit, which means those rules, those walls, those boundaries are going to still be, even though things are starting to move forward, because Pluto is about death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, regeneration, which is reincarnation itself. And with it coming closer to Saturn, it's putting rules, walls, and boundaries on a brand new foundation in general, a new soulful spiritual foundation. And for you, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, your 5th house. So that's going to be asking you to really get right with setting new rules, walls, and boundaries that help support you finding your spiritual inner child, your inner creativity, and your inner pursuit of pleasure. What brings you joy in life? And where have you not been taking the time for it? And you're going to be acknowledging that over the next, at least 4 or 5 months. But at first, as this first starts to happen in the beginning of the month, as these energies are starting to come, direct and still going through that shadow, you might be noticing what is getting in the way of making you get connected What's keeping you from being able to be connected to your inner child, your inner pursuit of pleasure, your inner creativity, your inner enjoyment and fun? Where are you not being able to enjoy life because everything else is being put on your plate? And where do things need to shift so that you can get back to you? And you're going to be acknowledging that. Now, on the 4th, you have Mars moving into Libra. On the 8th, you have Venus moving into Scorpio. On the 13th, you have the full moon in Aries. And when we get to that house, I'll go over that. On the 23rd, you have the sun moving into Scorpio. On the 23rd, the sun moves into Scorpio. The 27th, you have a new moon in Scorpio. And then on Halloween, Mercury goes retrograde. There's some dark kind of energy that's popping up for many of you that is very close to home, that's keeping you from being able to get right with self, right with your creative self, right with yourself in a bunch of different ways. I think this has to do with what's going on with that head and heart coming into balance, and that ego trying to get in the way and make you think that you have to do things that you don't. I mean, this is what I'm getting from Spirit right now. And then we have Halloween, which is Samhain, on the 31st, and Mercury is going to go retrograde. And like I said, communication's getting ready around the 14th to go into a little bit of a darker energy. I think they're giving you a warning. I think they're trying to give you a warning that you don't want to be tapping into that negative thinking when Mercury starts to go into shadow, because it's going to mess with you, I think, is what they're trying to warn you of. You're also going to have a very powerful day on Halloween, not just because it's Halloween, but because you have the moon, Ceres, and Jupiter all coming together in Sagittarius on Halloween. Now, you also have Libra. Everybody's calling it Libra season until the 23rd, when the sun moves into Scorpio. And what they're leaving out is the collective consciousness is there, as well as make, which is, where are you on the lotus flower? Where are you on the growth of the lotus flower? Vista is in retrograde. Pallas is in Scorpio, and Ura is in Virgo. So right there, the very most important thing that I can tell you is Ura is in Virgo, because this is for all of you Virgos. Your very first house of your self-awareness, your physical body, your personal appearance, your identification, your image. Ura speaks to you of sacrifice and commitment. Right off the bat this month, Ura is asking you, what does it take to commit to yourself and find yourself? Period. That's what's going on for the whole month. Right there. Says a lot about all of the houses. What is it going to take to commit to yourself, to figure out who yourself is, and to be yourself, and allow it and accept it? That is going to be what's going on with Ura and Virgo. Period. For the whole month. Now, you also have your second house is Libra. The sun is going to be here until the 23rd, but Mars is going to be here for pretty much the whole month. Mars is going to be standing in your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Sun's going to be there until the 23rd, illuminating your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem. So it's one of two things. Either you're feeling good about yourself, or you're being shown where you're not feeling good about yourself, what you're doing wrong, and what you need to be doing to get it right about self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. And that puts you back in the flow of money by doing it right, because it's also your money house for you. That second house is, and that specifically for you is Libra, asking you harmony and balance and trust and justice for your self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem. This isn't justice for other people, justice for yourself. Self-worth, value, self-esteem, harmony with yourself, sacrifice, of getting to be right and honest and true with yourself. That's your first two houses for the month. Now you've got your third house is Scorpio. You've got Venus and Mercury and Pallas here. At the end of the month, the sun moves in, but this is about communication. It's your communication house, and for some of you, it's specifically your neighbors, is what I'm being told. But this is your communication house. It's that up close and personal communication that can be overlooked often as well. Details, intellect, trivia, gossip, phone calls, text messaging. And for you, you have Pallas here. You have Mercury here. You have the sun going to be moving in on the 23rd, but you also have Venus here, which is meaning that communication is very sensitive right now because, like I said, Mercury is going to go retrograde at the end of the month, but usually around the 15th-ish, about 2 weeks before, it starts to go into some darker aspects of that communication zone. So pay attention. Pallas is here to guide you in the right way. Venus is going to get a little confused because of her sensitivity, and emotional because of her sensitivity and these communications. And like I said, for some of you, it's going to be very up close siblings or neighbors as well. And what's going on in the communication. And when we speak of the communication house, this is also our throat chakra. And this speaks to how we communicate, but also how we listen. And Pallas is here to help you strategically think your way through this with logic instead of just emotions. Because Mercury doesn't have emotions, but Mercury does look at the positive and the negatives. Venus is going to look at the emotions and the sensitivity to it. Pallas is going to be here to help you strategically think your way through it. And the sun will move in at the second half of the month, illuminating whatever the truths are in those communications. And you'll be noticing it as you go through the month. Something is also going to be taking place with possessions. They're putting me back to the second house right now. Possessions, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and making sure that you're taking good, truthful, healthy, positive care of yourself, because possessions should be money, but we are talking about the whole psychic world. So I'm saying there's been some kind of negative energy I'm getting in here, so make sure that you're in the positive energy, plain and simple. Now, as we go into the fourth house for you, this is Sagittarius. The fourth house is Sagittarius, where you're going to feel all month building your inner emotional security, a reincarnation of the true depths of yourself, the true real self, the karmic lessons that leads you back to the true depths of inner emotional security. And you have Jupiter here, bringing abundance and knowledge to this energy, maturing it and growing it in all ways. But here's the kicker. Ceres is coming closer to it all month long. And on Halloween Day, we'll be right on top, and so will the moon. Okay, so all month long, coming into that inner emotional security, Ceres is coming closer and asking you, where are you nurturing your inner emotional security? And where are you neglecting it? And on Halloween Day, Samhain, it's going to illuminate whatever the truth is. I'm just warning you. So this is all speaking to you about getting right with self and your inner emotional security all month long, because it's going to be building all month until those three are together. Now, your fifth house is where a Capricorn is. This is where Saturn and Pluto both are going direct now, and still going to be in shadow for a little bit. This is asking you about where you haven't gotten quite right with your pursuit of pleasure, your inner child, your inner emotional, not inner emotional security, your inner child, your inner pursuit of pleasure, your inner play, your inner enjoy in life, and what is keeping you from being able to express your inner joy. Because when you're joyful, you also have a new depth of inner emotional security. And This is saying things have been in the way of being able to get to the root of that. Because with them both coming together, it's asking you who's been stepping in the way, who's been stepping on you from not being able to get to your play, to get to your joy, to get to fun. What's been stepping in the way of being able to express that in yourself? And what do you need to do to make changes to do that? You're going to be acknowledging this all month, but you are at first going to be acknowledging probably darker things that feel like they're getting in the way. And that's because they have been. And it's asking you to shift and monitor that. But there's something you've gotten very good at about making yourself think that you're getting to that enjoyment and that play and that part of your inner pursuit of pleasure, but it's not really serving you. Because it's not serving you, it's not truthful for you anymore. And you're going to start to acknowledge that as they move away from that south node. That universal sixth house doesn't have anything in it right now, which is a good thing because that doesn't mean anything positive or negative is working for you in either way. This is just asking you pay attention to the people, the places, the things that you have in your daily tasks, your daily mundane tasks, your daily patterns, your daily, rituals of what you do are the right people, places, and things. The energy that you wish to consume that support you having a healthy life. Period. That's all that is coming down to, is understanding that yes or no. There's on the side, I don't know what you are, but you're going to back up off me right now. Right now. Like I said, I feel like you've got something really pushing on you. And maybe a specific person, and maybe the energy. I said right now. That's definitely coming in, saying that it's keeping you from getting to your true comfortability. Whether Spirit's putting it on me that way or something's making you feel like you have to do some things that you don't, that's keeping you from your true self-awareness, your true emotional security. And you're going to definitely be finding where you need to stand up to it and make changes this month because of whatever that was. Plain and simple. As you come into your seventh house, this is Pisces. That might be why that came up too. Your seventh house is Pisces. This is where Neptune is, and Neptune's in retrograde with Lilith, the toxic temptress. Okay, and she can work for you or against you depending on how you're using her with Neptune's retrograde energy. Understand that seventh house is your partnerships, your relationships of all kind, from your friends, your loved ones, your children, your parents, your spouse, to your working environment, your contracts that you have to uphold. It's even your open enemies, and what kind of relationship that you hold with and everything that you care about, right down to your money. Like I say all the time, when you have no money, you know about your relationship with that lack of money. And this is speaking about Neptune and Lilith being here. So in these relationships, don't be holding on to nostalgia, because Neptune's in retrograde. Neptune's tricky. It's where fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality. It's where magic is created. But it's also where illusion and delusion are. Kind of like right now, you're watching the video and it's kind of like as if I'm sitting here talking to you. But in truth, by the time you get around to watching the video, God only knows what in the world I'm off doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not exactly the same thing as truthfully real. When you hold on to nostalgia, you can learn lessons while looking back at it. But it's never going to be the same story again. It's never going to be the same moment again. And you're never going to have it exactly the same way again. And typically when we look back at thoughts and memories, they aren't exactly the way they really were. It's kind of the way we wanted them to be, or the way we're choosing to remember the memory. So nostalgia is a magical idea of a past, but it is not actually the past, and it's not actually touching it and bringing it forward. It's living in a past. So it's only good for looking back to learn from mistakes, and then move forward. You don't want to bring the past forward. So this is saying, are you connecting with your Neptune properly while it's in retrograde and only communicating with you? And Lilith is sitting here, that toxic temptress, about really getting right with your sacral chakra and how you feel about yourself. Or are you letting other people beat you down and tell you how you should feel about yourself by expressing to you what they think of you instead of what you feel and honestly should and do think of yourself? This is about making sure you're standing in your power. You're feeling good enough to trust in yourself, to be creative in yourself, to stand in your power and back up your own inner emotional security within these relationships is part of what this whole energy is about. Again, you're going to back the fuck up off me. Like I said, for somebody is really being pushed in a hard direction for them. And I feel like it's not degrading, but making them feel less valued. I really feel like this month is really about touching base with your inner emotional security, yourself, with your self-value, and coming to a new awareness of your self-identification, your image, that you believe in yourself and don't fuck everybody else. Okay, your 8th house is where the responsibilities in these relationships come forward. Joint finances, resources, and efforts. And this is Taurus. This is coming right back to independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and Vista in retrograde, asking you, where is all of that connecting with this true self, the soul? Where's the soul being able to breathe and express its individuality, uniqueness, and freedom within the relationships? Where are you balanced within these relationships? You shouldn't be putting in everything while somebody else puts in nothing. This is about making sure that there's a balance there and the relationship is able to actually serve you and acknowledging it for whatever it is that the relationship brings to the table. The 9th house is Gemini. You have nothing here at this time to help bring it forward or take it away. You have nothing here to help it or lose, to help gain or lose from this area. This is just telling you, you need to trust within your own intuition, trust within your higher self, and allow it to speak to you, because you don't have anything there to help you, but you also don't have anything there to strip and take from you. So this is telling you to take the time to meditate and take time for yourself to be able to reconnect on another level, because there's nobody there to extra support or harm. Now, in the 11th house, the 10th house is Cancer. That is where the North Node is, and it's telling you about your honor, your reputation, your prestige, your personal, financial, career, your financial, social foundations that also support that financial career. This is also speaking about the outer relationships, not outer relationships, the outer responsibility and authority within your life. And this is Cancer. So this is telling you what you need to learn about these situations that will help influence you and move you forward. Cancer wants to nest in the energy. Cancer wants to nurture the energy that's going to support your finances, support your reputation, support your honor and your prestige and your financial growth. But are the responsibilities and the authority of the community supporting it or not? And you're going to be paying attention to that, because if it's not a true foundation that supports that growth, then there's something that's not serving you there, and you need to acknowledge it so that you're making the right decisions. Your 11th house, hi baby. Your 11th house I'm sorry, that was your 11th house. Your 12th house is Leo, and there's absolutely nothing here. So this is just you working through your own unconscious depths. There's nothing supporting it or going against it. That's a good thing because it's not overly in the depths of your 12th house. This is your subconscious energy. This is your hidden self, your unconscious depths, your self-deception, your mental illness, self-sacrifice. This is also where your grief, your secrets, your sorrow, your shame is. But Leo always has two of the guardians of the pole in it, which always says it's always on alert of sensitivity. It's always on alert of illuminating. And it's always on alert of what the rules, walls, and the boundaries are. So, your skeletons in the closet are automatically questioning, well, will you listen? Can we work this out? Can I heal, or do I need to go back and put more skeletons in a closet? More or less. So, your subconscious energies are there speaking to you, but only to a point. They haven't gone into overdrive at this point, and that's a good thing, because I feel like you definitely have enough going on in the outer community that you need to be involved with making sure you're figuring out what your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem is, without digging in so deep that maybe that Mercury retrograde, that shadow, you don't want that shadow. I just feel like that shadow energy from the 14th to the Halloween energy. Don't let that negativity of that communication take you in a bad way. You need to stay positive and stay with your inner emotional security, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and understanding the true identification and image and identification, like I said, of who and what you are. And let the world around you know what that is as well. I love you guys. Bye.